Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we are again on an online race lobby, this time in S2 class with the 2022 Porsche Mission R. So yeah, this is an all-electric track car, and yeah, it's fantastic in quite a lot of ways. Handling could be a little bit better. It is a car that unfortunately relies on aerodynamic downforce for its handling for a large proportion of any race that it's in, so the faster you go, the more handling you have. But as you can see by the acceleration, launch and braking, it is pretty damn good. And yeah, even though the top speed doesn't look that great, it's because of the way that electric cars work, so it's reliant on its standard gearing. But because I have changed that gearing, it is now a lot quicker at the top end. So instead of its standard top speed of 184, it can now do 206. So yeah, it's not quite as quick as some cars on this lobby might well be, because you know there's a lot of supercars and hypercars here that have probably even more power than I do, or at least because they're geared, engines should have higher top speed. But you know, I rarely envision a race that we're going to be hitting 206 miles an hour. Obviously there are circuits and you know point-to-point races where that might happen. There's no doubt about that, but you know it's not a guarantee that you'll have a race like that. So yeah. Do wish the handling was better, and yeah, these kind of S2 class kind of lobbies are usually filled with people that drive the same kind of car. And as you can see, Lambo Sesto Forza Edition is one of the most overused cars on this game, quite frankly. But at least we do have like some of the Mosler and the Brabham. Not sure how they perform in this class, but yeah, I do enjoy driving this car, like I do with most other cars that I take online racing. So yeah, it's a case of enjoying the car driving more than the end result as far as I'm concerned, which isn't an excuse for not losing. It's just how I have always approached online racing, to be honest, because I got sick of the fact that you can be in the best car possible or anything like that, but you'll always come across people that want to cheat and ram into you and use advantages that you're not going to bother exploiting. So yeah, I got over the whole competitive side of it because of the kind of nature of online racing, and just approached it from another angle completely. See what I mean? Someone ramming into me there to put me out of the corner. So yeah, as long as I'm enjoying the driving, then it doesn't really matter if I win or not, because I've enjoyed the driving regardless. But if I get a win or a decent podium position, then yeah, obviously I'll be happy with that, but no expectations for just such a thing, quite frankly. So yeah, the brakes on this are absolutely superb. Stops just as well as it goes, quite frankly. And yeah, put in the same level of power and torque as it got in its extreme off-road silly builds version. But obviously we've kept the race suspension, kept the slick tyres that it came with originally. So yeah, it's even faster in a straight line than it was on that version, despite this being the heavier of the two versions. Because you know, classes don't really matter on that series, because you can race in, you know, in the event blueprint race that I've done in any class, so class doesn't matter at all. Whereas obviously in online lobbying racing you're limited to S2 class as the top class, so yeah, I couldn't shave off a few hundred more pounds unfortunately, which would make it even faster somehow. But yeah, it wouldn't unfortunately be able to compete. So yeah, but it still now has 1,147 horsepower, which is a massive 476 horsepower more than it had originally, and 1,266 pounds-feet of torque, which is a massive 525 extra pounds-feet of torque. So yeah, quite an increase, but obviously it doesn't have much less in the way of weight, like at 27 pounds less. So it's now weighing 3,280 pounds, which is 27 pounds less. So not a massive decrease in weight, but any decrease in weight when you're having that amount of horsepower and torque increased is going to be beneficial, especially when it comes to the handling. But unfortunately it is, like I said, a car that relies on its aerodynamic downforce more than, you know, the tyres and the suspension to provide the handling. So that's why anything, you know, any corner above 100 mile an hour or so is pretty easily dealt with, but going into a corner or coming out of a slow corner is a lot trickier, especially given how much torque it has. And at the end of the day, being an electric vehicle, that torque is nigh on instantaneous, so yeah, you've really got to balance the throttle to keep it from spinning out or spinning the wheels at all coming in or out of a corner. So yeah, it's not an easy car to drive whatsoever, despite the look of it. And, you know, it looks like a car that's going to be sorted all the way through, but yeah, it does take a lot more than some people would imagine to handle. So yeah, definitely one you've got to be careful of at times, but it can be the odd understeer as well. It is all-wheel drive, and there's a lot of power going through those front wheels. Oh dear, see what I mean? It can break loose at a moment's notice, which is the big flaw with this car. It's definitely something you've got to be wary of. Oh dear. Slowing down coming into that corner, and that inevitably also made me lose grip, so it's a very difficult car to drive. I do enjoy driving it, just because I'm a fan of EVs and how they deliver their power and how much fun they can be to drive, but of all the EVs I've ever driven in a racing lobby, this is easily one of the more difficult ones. It's not impossible. I'm sure someone with a lot more talent than me, in a potentially different upgraded version, will be better than I am, but I still enjoy driving it regardless of how difficult it is. Sneaky bugger in that dodge. Oh well. I enjoyed that one purely because of the challenge of how the car was to drive. It was breaking loose at times, so yeah. But yeah, my talent is very limited, as I have said in numerous videos before, so yeah, don't go expecting a racing god in these kind of videos. I've never pretended to be so, and yeah, that was kind of evident in that one there. But still, we're in 4th overall in terms of the lobby. Obviously that helps in the fact that the 5th and 6th place were not in the previous race, but still, it's a decent position. Hopefully we can hold it in this 3rd and final race. But yeah, it's to drive home how much quicker this car is as well. 0 to 60 in the original version was 2.515 seconds, which was hilariously quick, but now in this version we can do it in 1.890 seconds, so yeah, more than 0.6 of a second quicker to a 60, even though we're already really quick to 60, is quite impressive, quite frankly. And yeah, its original 0 to 100 time was 5.1 seconds, but now it can do it in 3.540 seconds, so again, a massive leap in speed there, 1.5 seconds quicker, which is again really fast. So yeah, if I could have reduced the weight, or even, you know, widened the rear tyres, then yeah, this would be a better, but then it would be a very over the top competitive car, so I can see why they would limit the kind of upgrades that you can do. You know, you've got to balance vehicles on this game so it's competitive for other people to play. It's not fair that, you know, that one car would rule the roost, quite frankly. Oh dear. I don't know if that was my fault or his fault, but the car was twitching around a fair bit. Guess at those high rates of speeds it's going to have all of the downforce you could ever need, and therefore it's going to be a very nervous kind of car to drive, really. Oh dear. There's that lack of handling again into a slow corner. Understeering like mad. And oversteer as well. Come on, you can hold it. I've never been the best at S2 class lobbies anyway. We are going to get a podium. By pure luck by the looks of things, more than anything, but podium is a podium, so yeah, it's like a lot of track cars really, or race cars built only for the track, in that it has all of the downforce, all of the handling when you have the speed, but it's about maintaining that speed, and obviously when you can't, because of a slow corner or other drivers or anything like that, that's when you really rather break loose. So yeah, I have no idea what's going on there with 6th place. Looks like a bit of a glitch. But yeah, we maintained 4th place overall, so I'm pleased with that. But yeah, could have been a lot better, and I'm sure some people with more talent or better capabilities with upgrading can do better than me. But regardless, it is a really rather fun car to drive, and I highly recommend getting it if you haven't already. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.